I have grown up around auctions all my life. My uncle is an auctioneer, and he's been using me as his sidekick since grade school. I've always enjoyed attending auctions because they're very exciting. I still remember the first items I bought at an auction. It was 4 collector Ninja Turtles selling for 4 times the money. I bid all the way to $12.50 and was very disappointed when I learned 4 times the money meant I just agreed to pay $50 for 4 Ninja Turtles. However, to this day, I still have those turtles sitting in their box in the back of my closet. I now work as an office assistant for an auction company near my hometown. I have the responsibility of answering the phones, which has also taught me a lot about the auction process. I receive many phone calls starting a few days before the auction day from worried or confused bidders. Oftentimes I hear, "Hi, I'm planning on attending your auction next Wednesday, and I haven't been to an auction since 1955 with my granddad, and I was just wondering if you could tell me how it all works." These phone calls made me realize there are a lot of people who haven't ever attended an auction and are completely clueless as to how the auction process works. According to the Oklahoma State Auctioneers Association website, only 54% of the United States population has attended a live auction, which is why I thought an informative speech on what to expect as a buyer and a seller at an auction is needed. First, we will start with a little history and background of auctions. According to the Auction Development website, the word auction derives from the Latin word auctio, meaning gradual increase. Some of the earliest recorded auctions date back to 500 BC, when it was common to auction off women for marriage. Thank goodness we gave that up. During different times in history, it was also common for slaves, fish, tobacco, fresh flowers, and the property of debtors to be auctioned off. The first known auction house in the world, Stockholm Auction House, was founded in 1674 and located in Sweden. Since then, auction houses and companies have been springing up all over. In addition to the rise of auction companies, there has also been a rise in auction schools. There are hundreds of auction schools around the world, and you can even become a certified auctioneer online. There are a few common auction methods an auction company will use to sell merchandise. All methods work well, so when choosing the type of method to use, the company will look at the items they are selling, where their target consumers are located, and who they are selling their items to. The first method of selling is the silent auction. Silent bidding is most commonly used at benefits, fundraisers, and social gatherings. Unlike the traditional auction method, bidders participating in a silent auction are able to bid on as many items for whatever price at any time. Silent auctions are not designed to be the main attraction at an event like traditional auctions are. One downfall of using silent auctions is bidders tend to lose interest, or they forget to go back and check on their items they have bid on due to the other activities going on. However, silent auctions are a great way to raise money, and it takes very little professional experience to successfully execute a silent auction. The second method an auction company may use is the online method. Personal property owners can attempt to sell their merchandise through online auction sites such as eBay. However, individuals may not be able to obtain the highest dollar possible for their items as many companies could. Today, most auction companies have a reputable online auction affiliate such as Proxybid.com. It is easier for auction firms to obtain a higher sale dollar when they sell merchandise online because 1, they already have a reputation with buyers, 2, they have followers, and 3, they know who, how, when, and where to market the merchandise. The third and most ancient way to sell merchandise at an auction is the traditional live style. When an auction is held in a traditional manner, the auction will be at a specific location with all merchandise on site. All merchandise is sold one item at a time. A clear winner and sell price will be pronounced for each item before the auctioneer will move on to the next item. At an auction, there are 2 types of people, the buyer and the seller, and sometimes one person could be both types. Here is what you need to know if you attend an auction as a buyer. If you are planning on making a purchase at an auction, it is essential to read the terms and conditions before you place a bid. The terms and conditions will make you aware of any fees that you will be expected to pay, when the merchandise must be removed from the auction site, and the forms of payment that are accepted by the auction company. If you as a buyer cannot abide by the terms and conditions, then you should not place a bid. Depending on the auction, sales tax, title, transfer, or buyer's premium fees could be charged to the buyers. Common items sold at auctions are equipment, land, livestock, personal property, real estate, antiques, vehicles, and tractors. Auctions are a great place to purchase quality used merchandise. A consumer can purchase used items for exactly what they are worth and sometimes purchase them for a cheaper price. According to the London Auction and Appraisers website, there are only a few basics that the buyer needs to know when attending an auction. The very first thing a buyer needs to do when they arrive is register with the auction company. The auction company will assign the buyer a number, a paddle, or some other form of identification. You should not bid unless you have registered, because if you win an item, the company will have no way of identifying you as the buyer. The second thing the buyer must do is walk around and inspect the items. They should get an idea of the items they will be bidding on and when those items will be sold, so they do not miss it. When the auction starts, the buyer should listen to the terms and conditions that the auctioneer states to ensure that they are aware of the expectations the company has of all buyers. It is then time to watch the auction and prepare to bid on the desired items. The ringmen may bring merchandise up to the auction block to be sold, or the auctioneer may move down a line of merchandise, selling one item after another. The auctioneer will announce what is being sold and then open up the floor to bids from the audience. Depending on the item being sold and the expected sale price, the auctioneer will increase the asking price commonly by $2.50, $5, $10, $25, $50, $100, $500, or $1,000. If a bidder is interested, he or she simply needs to raise their hand when the auctioneer asks for a new bid. The auctioneer will then accept the bid and continue to ask for a higher bid. When everyone has stopped their bids, the auctioneer will do approximately a 5-second chant to make sure nobody else wants to bid, and then pronounce the merchandise sold. The minute an item is pronounced sold, the item becomes the responsibility of the buyer and is no longer the responsibility of the auction company or the seller. When the bidder is done bidding, they must go pay for their purchases. They are then able to pack up their purchases and leave the auction. Buying items at auctions has a few advantages, including the buyer gets to choose how much he wants to spend on an item and can often spend less than what he or she was willing to pay. The buyer is able to take home their purchases immediately after they pay. There's no negotiating, so whoever puts in the largest bid wins the item fair and square. There are also disadvantages to buying at an auction. The biggest disadvantage to making a purchase at an auction is everything is sold in as-is condition. For example, if a bidder purchases a mower, takes it home, and discovers the engine is going out, he or she cannot return the mower. There can be multiple fees involved when making a purchase at an auction, and no guarantees or warranties are granted to any items purchased at an auction. There are a few reasons why property owners may turn towards the traditional or online auction methods to sell their items as well. However, no matter the reason why the seller has to sell, if they choose the auction method, most likely they need to sell their property quickly. There are many questions a seller needs to ask the auction companies before they choose which company to sell their merchandise with. The seller's first step when choosing an auction company is to visit each one's website. The auction company's website should clearly display the upcoming auctions. The website should also look professional, use good grammar, display a lot of clear, crisp pictures, provide detailed descriptions of merchandise, and clearly display auction dates and times. If the company's website doesn't have those qualities, the seller should not consider using that company. The chosen auction company should also be affiliated with some type of online auction service. Companies will be able to advertise and sell to a much larger audience with this kind of affiliation. Bringing in more buyers with the same need and desires will help the merchandise sell at a much higher price. Next, it is important to have buyers the company plans on advertising to. Lastly, the seller should ask how much commission will be charged. After these questions are answered, the seller should have a better picture of which company will do the best job selling their merchandise. According to the Oklahoma State Auctioneer Association website. The benefits of immediate. It happens during a set time and is completed during that time. It's quick and efficient. You as the seller get to set the time and place of your sale and prepared to buy. There's no haggling over price or merchandise. The auction method is quick and efficient. When people bid, they make a commitment to buy the property at that part. There's no more exciting atmosphere than an auction. Crowds of people competing for property combined with that lively auction chant makes for some great entertainment and fun over how much their merchandise is sold for. This can be very scary for some sellers and may discourage them from giving the auction method a try. Selling items at auction is, even though the seller is not doing the advertising, setup, tear down, or selling, they are still paying to have it done. Finding rare items is especially easy with the types of advertising that are available to auction companies today. A buyer is able to attend and purchase items. My favorite concept about an auction is it's not where you start, it's where you end up.